Batman comics have been published for 80 plus years now, with numerous writers and storylines adapting the character in a multitude of ways to better intrigue the interests of Batman fans over the years. And with such a long period of time writing the character, there are bound to be comic arcs / stories that might seem repetitive or too similar to a storyline that came many years prior. But when it comes to the more recent mainline Batman comics coming out, it's almost the same grand threat challenging Batman and the state of Gotham being at risk, all the way from Tom King's run on Batman during DC Rebirth to the current run being written by Chip Zdarsky. Pretty much every main threat follows the same beat of the main villain trying to take over Gotham in some way. During the last set of issues of Tom King's run on the title, you had the City of Bane arc with Bane trying to break Batman mentally and take control of the city. Typical Gotham villain shenanigans. This is also the same storyline in which Thomas Wayne Batman worked alongside Bane with the common goal of trying to end Bruce's crusade as Batman, but for somewhat different reasons. More importantly, it's the arc where Bane killed Alfred at Wayne Manor by snapping his neck while Damian Wayne Robin watched. And at this time of this recording, 4 or so years later, Alfred is still dead and DC Comics surprisingly hasn't brought him back yet, but only a matter of time before, well, that doesn't last long. After Tom King's run on Batman wrapped up and James Tynion took over, you had the Joker War story, another big Joker event where Bruce lost most of his money due to the Joker draining the accounts that held Bruce's fortune. Joker uses his newfound resources to essentially terrorize the city of Gotham. After that, you had the Fear State, in which you had Scarecrow trying to take over Gotham and the city being in shambles. Then, when Chip Zdarsky took over, his first arc was the Failsafe storyline, which I went over in the previous video, so click on the top right here to get more context of what I'm about to get into. Batman's alternate personality Zur-En created a contingency plan to stop himself in case Batman went rogue through the creation of an android named Failsafe. Bruce created Zur-En in case his mental state was tampered with in any way, shape, or form. I actually like the Failsafe arc, as you see parallels to the Justice League Tower Babel storyline with Bruce's contingency plans for the Justice League and the implementation of Zur-En from Grant Morrison's run of Batman pre-New 52. But even in the Failsafe storyline, guess what? Failsafe ends up taking over Gotham. Pretty much every major Batman arc since the start of Rebirth has the villain taking over or enacting a war against the city of Gotham in some way. It's kind of repetitive. And now with the most current storyline, Gotham War, it's essentially serving as a way to cause a giant rift within the Batfamily yet again, with a moral disagreement, I guess you could say, between Selina Kyle and Batman. Now, I probably don't have to say this, but there's absolutely no point in trying to cause conflict within the dynamic of the Batfamily. It's been done so many times, not to mention Dick was over here having a touching moment with Bruce after the events of Dark Crisis on Tom Taylor's run on Nightwing. But now you have him going up against Bruce alongside most members of the Batfamily. Now let's go in depth on the issues that's come out of the storyline so far and why it's kind of stupid. So for a little while now, Selina Kyle Catwoman has been gathering criminals / henchmen in secret with the sole purpose of training them and teaching them to commit crimes in different ways. Basically, she enforces them with her training to only steal from the wealthy and donate a small percentage of said stolen wealth to the city of Gotham. So essentially, Selina has taken over the Gotham underworld and trained a bunch of henchmen to be cat burglars. Apparently, this method reduced crime in Gotham by a whopping 75%, which is complete bull, by the way, but whatever. Batman is heavily against this tactic, as she's still promoting crime throughout Gotham, but really favored against it when a small-time crook was killed trying to rob someone while working for Catwoman. But what irks me the most about this whole thing is how most of the Batfamily is actually siding with Selina on this, going as far as to gang up on Bruce just to stop him. Like, what? On the surface level, it might seem plausible for the likes of Jason, for example, to lean more on Selina's ideology, but for Dick, Tim, Cassandra, and pretty much everyone else besides Damian taking Selina's side makes no sense and is extremely out of character for all of them. Dick just had a heart-to-heart with Bruce over on the Nightwing book. In that same run, Dick literally helps create programs in Bloodhaven to give the poor a better way out of life. So supporting the idea of literally letting trained criminals steal to any capacity is extremely out of character. Not to mention the fact both he and Bruce lost their parents due to the actions of criminals. Cassandra Cain especially wouldn't portray Bruce over something like this. I mean, has she even had any significant interactions with Catwoman at any point throughout her history? On top of the fact how Cassandra idolized and dedicated to becoming what the Batman symbol stands for. It's like DC forgets that Cassandra is practically Bruce's daughter or whatever. Be sure to check out my Cassandra Cain video I made a while back for more context. And it's weird how the likes of Tim is willing to ignore the fact that one of Catwoman's trained henchmen literally died trying to rob one of the wealthy due to the self-defense tactics of the person he was trying to rob. Batman literally brings this up to Tim and he's just like, yeah, well, the crime rates are down and the numbers don't lie. Like, what are you babbling about? Almost every value of Batman stems down to having to save as many lives as possible. And this Tim Drake saying nonsense like this can't be the same character. Stephanie Brown's father was literally a master criminal, so she of all people should know how bad Selina's plan is. Stated she saw one of Selina's henchmen steal something and she did nothing. Dick, Cass, and Tim all see Bruce as a father figure, but are willing to go against him for Catwoman of all people. Just top tier writing, ladies and gentlemen. Just clap it up for DC right here. So Jason and Selina try to set a diversion to distract Bruce so he doesn't keep tampering with Selina's operations and whatnot. Obviously it doesn't work as Batman beats up a bunch of Selina's henchmen, which results in Jason attacking Bruce as he then gets surprise attacked by Tim, with Tim trying to stop him, resulting in the rest of the Batfamily showing up to all simultaneously fight Bruce. Surprisingly, the only person to come to Bruce's aid is Damian Wayne, making him the only actual person on Bruce's side in this whole conflict. I can't imagine taking in and raising a bunch of children and teaching them to become the best version of yourselves just for them to turn on you for a cat burglar. Yeah, you'd probably have to call me Itachi Uchiha after that, because I wouldn't let that disrespect slide. There's just one panel from the latest issue in Batman issue 137 that made me question if this character is the same guy trained by the world's greatest detective, because this logic is actually idiotic. So Jason Todd states how Selina is saving lives with her new plan, in that with every thief Batman apprehends, he drives them back to their old ways of crime, thus driving said criminals to violence, meaning Bruce is responsible for said violence. Dog, there would be violence regardless if Bruce stops them or not, because they are literally committing active burglaries in which there is bound to be someone trying to stop them by any means necessary, which is shown when one of Selina's henchmen literally got shot with a gun and died attempting to rob someone. Since when did DC editorial reduce the amount of brain cells within Jason? Like, did I miss an issue or two? Who knows, maybe the storyline will make sense down the road, as there's only been 2 issues released out of all the issues a part of this crossover event so far. This is just to further highlight some of the more repetitive issues I've seen while reading the Batman books. Specifically, all of this stems down to like the main Batman title only, so I'm not including like the other titles like Detective Comics and whatnot, just the main run. I would hope things get better, but as a comic fan, literally all you can do is just pray for the best and hope your favorite character doesn't get character assassinated for the 7th time.